Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Facts Are Facts podcast. This is your favorite host, Broadway K, and it's NBA offseason, the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it's the most wonderful time of the year, man. Who's going to get better? Who's going to get worse? Who's going to get fired? Who's going to get cut? Who's going to get traded? So much going on, man. And I like to, sometimes when the first move happens, I don't like to comment immediately. I kind of like to let it breathe sometimes a little bit, because sometimes other moves are made because there's a domino move for something else. And I just like to let the smoke clear, let the smoke clear. Smoke has cleared on a couple moves, some not so much. But I'm going to go ahead and deep dive into some of the trades that we saw. I'm going to start off with my favorite trade that was made this off season. Now, my favorite types of trades are win-win trades, right? I consider this a win-win trade. This trade was the Orlando Magic sent KCP and Cole Anthony with 4 first-round picks to the Memphis Grizzlies for Desmond Bane. Now, from what I saw, a lot of the reaction was, "You traded 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane? Are you kidding me? He's not worth that." Okay. Mikal Bridges went for 6 first-round picks, and Desmond Bane is better than Mikal Bridges. He just is. Better shooter, better passer, better rebounder. Mikal Bridges has longer arms. He doesn't rebound like that. He's not a good passer. Give me Desmond Bane. That's just my opinion. I don't really see the argument for Mikal Bridges over Desmond Bane, but that's my opinion, right? So, in my opinion, this is a win-win trade. Now, why is it a win-win trade? Do I think KCP is a good player? Absolutely not. Do I think Cole Anthony is a good player? He's okay, right? The reason why this is a win-win trade, the Grizzlies are assessing their season. Now, the good GMs, what they do is they assess the season, win or lose, and you can tell from a basketball standpoint what is going on with my team. Now, the Grizzlies are looking at it like, we didn't win 50 wins this year, right? We didn't have 50 wins. We're not a 50-win team. We fired our coach, so we're obviously going to come in with a whole new game plan. Everything's going to be different. We look at it like, Jaren Jackson is developing. He's becoming a really good isolation player. He didn't have that in his bag at first. John Morant is obviously established around the league. We hit on the Jalen Wills pick in the second round, which usually does not happen. Zach Edey is pretty good, very good rotational starting center. So now it's like, okay, we got some good players, but this core, the John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson, it hasn't really led to anything, but a second round exit. So we're gonna not necessarily blow it up, but we're gonna recoup some assets for a player that we probably don't want to pay this much money, considering we haven't really done anything with this core. So for that, I'll give the Memphis Grizzlies an A. And another thing that they can do, they can package KCP at the deadline for a better rotation player or group of rotation players, or just a draft pick, right? Now, most people will be like, well, Broadway, you just said you don't think KCP is good. Yeah, but a great GM knows about asset management. A great GM doesn't just use, I don't think this player is good. You go about what's said around the league. The most coveted archetype around the league right now, is 3-and-D. People think that's the greatest archetype ever. Oh, you don't lose anything on defense, but you get floor spacers for your stars. I hate 3-and-D players, right? But that's coveted around the league. A great GM knows you can get value for that. You can get draft capital for that. You can get a good player for that people might not appreciate that kind of archetype. You can, move around. You can move and shake with that. Now, speaking of archetypes, my favorite archetype, maybe in NBA history, is the catch-and-shoot three-point shooter that averages 20 points. If you need an example, I'll give you one. Peja Stojakovic with the early 2000s Kings. Reggie Miller with the 90s and early 2000s Pacers. Ray Allen. Pick whoever team you want, Ray Allen. You can go Celtics, you can go Sonics, you can go Bucks. Whichever Ray Allen, you want to choose besides, Miami Heat, Ray Allen. these guys, my favorite archetype because they can play off the ball, but they are not statues. A lot of people are 3-and-D players like a Dorian Finney-Smith or Contavious Caldwell-Pope. If you just stand there, right, they might not shoot. If you run them off the three-point line, they don't have the creative ability to make a play or, make a play for someone else. You can't run Reggie Miller off that three-point line. He's going to one dribble pull up mid-range you. He's going to create, maybe get in the paint, draw a foul on your big, or he's going to shoot a floater. Peja Stojakovic has a bag. He can get to his mid-range and pull up. He can get to the paint and finish. He's 6'10". Rashard Lewis, 6'10", 6'11", 22 points a game. He can pump fake, get to that mid-range. He can go down there and dunk on your big. Ray Allen can pump fake, go behind the back, hit a pull-up. Those type of guys, my favorite archetype, because these guys can play off the ball, but they play better with an advantage. You running like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to close out on Ray Allen. And he barbecues you for 4 straight mid-ranges. But you have to run out on the 3 because that's his money bag. So Desmond Bane is the perfect archetype and the perfect player to put beside 2 demon-level creators in Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. Franz Wagner is one of the best downhill players in the NBA. 6'10", get to the paint, Euro step, wrong foot layup. Just a demon-level finisher, man. Can finish with either hand. Paolo Banchero is just too big. You cannot put a small on him. They're going to foul. You're going to have to bring help. And now when you bring that help, he's kicking that out to Desmond Bane. It compromises the whole defense. So if Jalen Suggs could get back to where he was hitting about 36, 37% of his threes, with them drawing all the turnovers, Desmond Bane being a bullet in transition, Franz Wagner being a guy who gets 2 feet in the paint whenever he wants, it's going to be hard to stop that team. So I gave the Grizzlies an A. I'm going to give the Magic an A+. Now, on to the biggest trade we've seen this offseason. That's going to be Kevin Durant being a problem in Houston. Now, there are things I loved about this trade. There are things I didn't love about the trade. What I love about the trade, we watched the playoffs. It was kind of rough for Houston in the half court. They're going to double Sengun. They just are. They don't have to respect Amen Thompson's shot. So, Jalen Green just wasn't there. Outside of game 2 where he had, I believe, 38 points, it was kind of rough for Jalen Green. Now, if you told me before the season the Rockets would be able to trade 1 first-round pick, Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks, and get Kevin Durant, I would have laughed you out the building. Like, I would probably still be laughing right now. But it's not funny now because it actually happened, right? Now, me personally, I would have rather seen the Rockets do what they needed to do to keep Dillon Brooks, right? I really don't see the point of having Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, and Sengun, right? This is how I would have looked at it as a basketball mind. Dillon Brooks and Amen Thompson, they take care of the defense, do all the dirty work, fight through all the screens, take the toughest matchup. Sengun and Kevin Durant, they take care of the offense. Sengun is the post hub, Kevin Durant is the ISO scorer. Then all you need, when you have a team like that, all you need is a connector. A guy who can do a little bit of everything. That could be Reed Shepard. That could be Fred VanVleet, right? That's what I wanted, me personally. But I don't really see the point of having Jabari Smith out there with Kevin Durant and Sengun, because do you really trust Jabari Smith to take on, like, the best offensive player on the other team? I probably don't. I know Dillon Brooks can do it, and you think Amen Thompson can probably do it too, but when you have Amen and Dillon Brooks, it's going to be hard to get that switch, man, because Dillon Brooks and Amen Thompson both do a great job fighting through screens. So that's what I would have done. So that's why I give the trade an A for the Rockets. You got Kevin Durant, man. Demon level scorer, 50, 40, 90. Top 5 mid-range guy ever. But then you look at the Suns, man. The only thing really saving this trade is that somehow Kaman Malawach fell to the 10th pick. Shout out to Rich Paul, I guess. Great pick for them. He has Rudy Gobert type potential. Maybe even possibly better potential. Not saying he's going to be Rudy Gobert. Not saying he's going to win 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. But this guy just started playing basketball not too long ago. He's picking up the game quick. He played on a stacked Duke team. The whole starting five was drafted. But what was weird was they also traded for Mark Williams. So now you got two centers. But the saving grace for them is because you have two centers now, you can probably move Nick Richards. And because you have Jalen Green and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, what you can probably do is move Nick Richards for some type of draft capital. Maybe that's 1 second-round pick or maybe 2. Then you can use that draft capital to help you get off Beal's contract. So a team like Miami, the Miami Heat, we would probably take Bradley Beal's contract if you attach a first-round pick to it. So you give us Bradley Beal in a first-round pick. Maybe you can get Terry Rozier and some other filler contract. Bradley Beal's a good player. Like, all these people keep talking like Bradley Beal is trash. He averaged 17 points on 49%. You're not getting that just anywhere around the league. He's still a good player. But you don't want to have too much overlap with your guards. Jalen Green, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker is redundant. If you could somehow turn that into like some type of point guard, an actual point guard, not a shooting guard in a point guard's body, an actual point guard, now it starts to look different for Phoenix. A very good piece for them would be like a Josh Giddey. If they could have Josh Giddey, Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and Kamal Malawach or Mark Williams, that would be great. Just to my phone just now, Jabari Smith signs a 5-year rookie extension for $122 million. Now, it's just funny that we were just talking about this. I don't really see the point of having Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, and Sengun. I would have never paid him $122 million. That's just me. It just came to my phone just now. I can't believe it. I wouldn't have done that. That's just me. Not at all. I don't think he's proven anything. He shoots about, 45% from the field. He shoots like 35% from three. He doesn't give you any playmaking. He averages more turnovers than assists. Not a great defensive playmaker. I don't really see the hype around Jabari, but he's 6'10". He's supposedly a shooter, so, I mean, hey, I would have rather had Dylan Brooks. That's just me. But, yeah, I give that trade an F for the Suns. You traded one of the greatest players of all time, top 15. Your return is a player nobody wanted in Jalen Green, even though he may be good. Nobody wanted him. And Dylan Brooks, who's a really good player. He fits that team, but we talking about Kevin Durant. So, F for the Suns. Not an F minus, but an F. And for the Rockets, I give them an A. I would have gave them an A plus if they kept Dylan Brooks, but they didn't. So there you go. So those are the two trades, the biggest ones. Now we get into the other trades. Now this next trade I think is probably the worst trade in NBA history. The Utah Jazz traded Colin Sexton for Yusef Nurkic and a second-round pick. Now, if you know anything about what people say around the league, people think Yusef Nurkic isn't even an NBA player. Is that a little bit dramatic? Yes. Do I think Nurkic is actually a good player? Yes, but he's a bad defender, and he's not a lob target. People like playing high screen and roll basketball today. People don't really like post hubs that aren't great players. Like, people will play through the post if it's Joel Embiid or if it's Nikola Jokic, but people don't believe in playing through the post unless that player is like one of the best players in the league. So people don't value Nurkic being a post hub. He's not a really good rim protector like he once was in Portland. So people just don't value that archetype. So for them to take on this contract and dump Colin Sexton, who's a guy who shoots 49, 40, 85, I just don't get it. Like, for a second-round pick, anybody would have gave you that for that level of player. This is why I wanted the Nuggets to get in on that, because that return is showing me there we could have moved Michael Porter and got John Collins and Colin Sexton if we just put a first up there. Michael Porter is seen as a better asset than Yusef Nurkic. But Nuggets, that's a whole different thing. Um, for this trade, the Charlotte Hornets, I'm giving an A+. Even though you don't need Colin Sexton, you have LaMelo Ball, you have Brandon Miller, you have Colin Knuppel. That's true, but you can always just flip Colin Sexton whenever you want. A bunch of teams need him. The Miami Heat need Colin Sexton, right? Some of these other teams, they might need Colin Sexton. So you can flip him for draft capital or for something you actually need, like a center that you want to play, not Yusef Nurkic. Now we're talking. A+ trade for the Hornets. F- trade for the Jazz. I can't believe Danny Ainge did this trade. Horrible trade on all accounts. And then this other trade is also, I would say, one of the worst trades I've ever seen. Lonzo Ball was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Isaac Okoro. I'm going to say that again. Lonzo Ball was traded to the Cleveland Cavs for Isaac Okoro, a player nobody wants to see. That's a player, when you're a fan of the team, he checks in the game, you're like, here come Okoro. I have friends that are Cavs fans. When they see Okoro at the scores table, they like this. Not because he about to dunk on somebody. He's about to not do anything. And Lonzo Ball, do I think Lonzo Ball is the greatest player? No. But like I said, a great GM knows how to view asset management. A great GM says, people around the league think this guy is really good, so I get value for him. You could have got a first-round pick for Lonzo Ball. People love Lonzo Ball around the league. He's a great defensive playmaker. He gets out on the break. He throws lobs. He's a fan favorite. People love Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball is solid. Do I think he's great? No. Do I think he's really, really good? No. Not anymore. He was good at one point. But he can tap back into that. But for the Cavs, the reason why this is a great trade, it kills two birds with one stone. It gives you insurance because you probably didn't want Ty Jerome. You're probably not going to re-sign Ty Jerome. But also, if you decide to move off Darius Garland, you have insurance for that. Most people will view Lonzo Ball as a great fit alongside Donovan Mitchell. He's big. He's 6'6". He's a great defensive playmaker. Gets in the passing lanes. Screen navigation. He's a great rebounding guard. He's probably, outside of, at this point, Westbrook's a little older now. Outside of Josh Giddey, he might be the best rebounding point guard in the NBA. I mean, Lonzo Ball can really rebound, man. Crazy that those two were on the same team last year, but man, great defensive playmaker. He gives them insurance. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw the Cavs move Darius Garland now. Is Darius Garland way better than Lonzo Ball? Yes. But most people believe in the archetypes. Lonzo Ball is the POA, point of attack defender. He gets in passing lanes. He rebounds. He's not a small guard that's going to get hunted. People care about stuff like that. Maybe now they move Darius Garland and upgrade that wing position. Maybe. I'm just saying. Maybe. I don't know. But that trade. I'm going to give an A+ for the Cavs. I'm going to give an F- for the Bulls. Another terrible trade where you didn't get assets. You didn't get assets for DeMar DeRozan, really. You didn't really get assets for Zach LaVine. The Josh Giddey thing, I don't really get why people think they would have attached draft capital to get Caruso when Josh Giddey averaged more points, rebounds, and assists on the 1 seed. Like, I don't like how people do that. Oh, I like this player, so he's way better. No. Go by what we actually saw. If Caruso was on the 1 seed, which we saw this year, everybody cared about it. But when Giddey was the starting point guard, not bench player like Caruso was, when he was the starting point guard and getting triple doubles on the 1 seed, y'all still didn't care and called him a losing player. So the idea that they should have got draft capital for that is ridiculous. The OKC shouldn't have. That trade being a 1-for-1, I thought was crazy. As a Giddey fan, like, Giddey is a better player, but it worked out. The OKC won a title, great for them. But the Bulls just make another stupid move. you got to get a first round pick for Lonzo. So now looking forward, the Bulls are probably going to trade Vucevic. They're probably going to trade Ayo. You need to try to get first round picks for both of those players. So with Vucevic, you actually might have to wait until people remember how good he is. When he starts shooting 40% from three and he's averaging 19 and 12, people are going to be like, oh, you know who would be really good? Vucevic. Then you might have to get off of him, right? But Ayo is a player everybody loves. They love that archetype 3 and D. You got to get a first round pick. Tell Milwaukee, hey, you losing Gary Trent probably. Dame's out for the season. Get some defense around Giannis. Ayo Dosunmu, man. Get a first round pick for that, but you get an F- for that horrible trade. Lonzo Ball for a Okoro. And then the crazy part is you want to get the draft capital because you got to get off Patrick Williams. He's unplayable. So if you can attach draft capital to Patrick Williams to get off his contract, you need to do that. So F- trade for the Bulls, man. My name is Broadway K. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Broadway K. Follow me on Twitter at Northern Squad. This is the Facts on Facts podcast. Peace and love.
Just let it go. Just let it go.
That's real.